If you've been trying to change an old pattern that doesn't serve you anymore, or if you've been trying to grow in an area of your life and are getting frustrated because you just find yourself repeating more of the same old habits and behaviors you don't like, then I want you to listen to what I'm about to share. What I want to leave with you today is going to give you more grace for yourself as you're learning and growing, and also more motivation to keep working on things, as well as something specific to do. So in life coaching, I see people all the time who are not getting the results that they want in certain areas of their life. And a lot of times this comes down to deeply held beliefs, thought patterns, or loops we go on as a reaction to something based on old programming. So how do we get new programming? Well, the number one thing I want to leave with you today is repetition. You have to put in reps. Think about how we teach children and the amount of grace and patience we have for them when they're learning to do anything new, say tie a shoe. Do you know how many dozens and dozens and dozens of reps it takes for a kid sitting there for 10 minutes tediously trying to get this whole thing? And by the time you're a teenager, you can tie your shoe without even looking at it. You can tie a shoe in your sleep almost. The brain wants to take things from a state where it has to be very intentional and cognizant and aware, and it wants to get it automated. That's its job. And so that actually can serve us when we're putting in reps for anything that we want to learn or grow in or change. We just put in the reps, and over time the brain's going to help us, and it's going to make it more automatic. So when this comes to a habit you want to change, this could be anything. This could be, I don't want to be so angry. I don't want to be so anxious. I want to be a more generous person. I want to break a relationship pattern with I have, getting so defensive. I want to be more loving. Whatever that thing is, and you feel like you're not making changes, it's probably because you're not putting in enough reps. And what I mean is this. Because the mind puts things so quickly into subconscious, and because so much rapid learning happened between the ages of 0 to 7 that quickly got stored in our subconscious, we need to go back and reprogram it. And if we're in our 40s, 50s, that is decades of reprogramming. So you're going to need a lot of reps. You can't just listen to a book once and think you're going to get the concept and you're just going to wake up and be different. You're going to have to keep retraining and reprogramming. Research shows us that each day we think between 93 to 97 cyclical thoughts that we thought the day before and the day before and the day before. And where you are right now in your life is the results of your best thinking. So if you don't like the results, you have to change that cyclical pattern, and that is going to come through repetition, repetition, repetition. That is going to mean if you read a book that just hits you and it just, yes, this is what you're trying to change, this is what you want to move into, this makes sense, this resonates, listen to it 10 more times. You have to get those concepts back from that state of conscious intention awareness into auto programming, so that starts to become your natural response and your natural way of thinking, leaning, reacting, and being. So it's the repetition. Just put those in. You can do that. That's 20 minutes in the car to work and back. That could be while you're mowing the yard, washing dishes, washing laundry, whatever that is. You're putting those thoughts into your head. You're changing the feedback. You're changing the narrative in the direction that will better serve you in life. That could be listening to a podcast. You might have, if a podcast hit you, great, listen to it 10 more times. Get it in there through repetition. Don't expect yourself to just get something right away and then get frustrated that you're not. You can't go to the gym one time a week and then be frustrated a year later that your body hasn't changed. Or you can't go to the gym 5 weeks in a row every day and be frustrated that you don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or that you don't look like a figure competitor. It's just those people just put in thousands more reps than you. So be encouraged, be gracious with yourself. It takes time and repetition, but you can also be repetitions are something you can do. Don't feel like I can't change myself, but you know what you can do? Every day you can be very intentional about listening to, surrounding yourself with that mindset, saying it out loud, practicing what you want to be, and over time your brain's going to do its job and it's going to put that in the place of automatic response, and you're going to start to become that person or embody that quality that you want. I know for me it took several years and I'm still not 100% there, but so much further. I really wanted to change a scarcity mindset that I carried. It's the way I was raised. There's never enough. Everything's in competition. We have to be, always worried about having enough. And through a lot of intentionality, this is through reading books, this is through listening to certain speakers that I liked, this is through just repeating things. I listened to a book 10 times. It's so great to see how so much more of my automatic response now is in an abundance mindset. And anytime I feel myself slipping back, I will just intentionally listen to while I'm doing things, a different mindset, an abundance mindset. I have a couple select speakers that I love to hear about that. But that's an example in my personal life of how I use repetitions over time to change and to start to become the person that I wanted to be in that one area of my life. So be encouraged, put those reps in, keep learning. You're going to get there. Give yourself grace. We don't expect a baby to walk the first time he stands up. In fact, it's the falling over and over that trains his nervous system how to walk. So when another part of learning, when you catch yourself doing it the old way, doing it the way you don't want to do it, that's a perfect time to, now you're aware of it, like, oh, I did it again. Here's a story for me. When I was trying to learn to be a better receiver, a happy receiver, I used to push things away, like, no, that's okay. Or I feel guilty if people would do things for me or try to give me things. And I spent a couple years focusing on that, trying to be a gracious and happy receiver. And I was put to the test. I pulled into a parking lot late at night with my 3 kids in the car. We jumped out, and there on the ground was this huge wad of cash. And my initial automatic instinct was like, oh my gosh, that belongs to somebody else. We have to get it back to them. But my son, who was a gracious receiver, jumped out and was like, wow, we found money. It was $700. It was great, and he wanted to keep it. So that showed me my initial response, like, I'm not there yet. I'm still in a place where I would rather push something away. The reality is we were never going to find the owners of $700 of cash, because the first person we ask, hey, did you lose $700 of cash, would be like, oh yeah, I did just a couple minutes ago, thanks, right? Somebody was going to be a gracious receiver, and it was meant for me to be the gracious receiver. I just hadn't learned my lesson yet. But my point is, when we make mistakes, that is a great point of awareness of like, oh, I missed it. So when you mess up, when you go back to an old pattern, when you repeat something you don't want to repeat, being aware of it, oh, I just did it again, okay. Looking back at that situation, I want to respond this way the next time. That is a step towards your direction. That's how you will that. So be encouraged, put in your reps. You can change and become or embody or grow in any area that you want to. So go ahead, hit the like button, share this with somebody who needs to be encouraged and motivated as well, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you soon.